Hello and welcome to Web Profit Masters. If this is your first time, then I really appreciate you joining us. And we're going to just cover some introductory points now about how you get some of the fundamentals right in starting and then building your own online business. And if you're not familiar with us, we have got all sorts of experiences, corporate people and entrepreneurs. And believe me, the life of an entrepreneur is just so much better. So we really want to help you to achieve success in that now. And today we're going to talk about building trust and value, just some of the fundamentals that will help you get a sustainable business that you can then use to launch into all sorts of exciting areas now across the web. What do we mean by that? Well, first of all, you need to go through a process of building the trust equation and understanding just what the value cycle is all about for your customers. So we're going to talk to you a lot more about that in future programs, but just give you some introductory points now that I hope you're going to find insightful. And we've built this up from all sorts of experiences over large corporate consulting projects, and also just understanding the successes and failures that you get when you're operating as a serial entrepreneur. And believe me, you're going to get some really interesting and exclusive insights on all of this through the series of videos that we're going to put together for you for Web Profit Masters. So let's talk about the trust equation first of all, and really that starts off with credibility. And you build credibility by showing a level of insight about your particular area, as well as foresight on the future. And you've got to build that credibility at the same time as working on an ongoing level of engagement with your prospects and support and delivery of value in every possible interaction that you have with your customers. This applies just through life, whether it's online, offline, in any situation. And clearly the level of frequency that you get with your customers is going to help you build that relationship. So you've got the credibility and the relationship, lots of areas that again we're going to work on with you in subsequent videos. But you've also got to get over the perceived risk. And clearly nobody's going to actually commit their time, their confidentiality, their trust to you unless you can remove uncertainties, unless you can take away the downside for them. So the trust equation is really built up by addressing these three areas, because you've got to maximize credibility, build on the frequency so that you get the relationship, and then minimize the perceived risk. And it really is an equation like that, that the more credibility you get, the stronger the intimacy and the frequency of your relationship with your customers, online or offline, through any social media or any opportunity that you have to give them value, you've got to give it, whilst at the same time showing complete professionalism and reliability. And then you take away the perceived risk. The smaller the perceived risk, the bigger the influence of credibility and relationship, and the greater your trust equation. Let's talk now about the value cycle, because again, lots of things can arise from giving maximum value, including repeat business, which is clearly what you want to achieve. And let's start off by information here, because really you've got to get past the stage of just having data and providing data on its own. You've got to give it context, and when you give it context, then it's information and it's of use to your targets. At that same time, you've got to then give that some evaluation, and once you've added evaluation, then you provide some exclusive insight on that information. How do you get to then a level of foresight? Well, clearly you need experience and you need judgment in applying the insight that you've got to foresight on the way things are going to go, foresight on the opportunities that could develop. And if you then add on to that creativity, then you get to a level of innovation, which is exclusive to you and of great value to your customer if you're providing them with innovation opportunities based upon your own foresight and insight. But it's got to be differentiated in the marketplace, so you clearly need to apply intelligence to do that, so that you can absolutely maximize the unique selling points of what you're offering to the marketplace and absolutely optimize your competitive positioning. And clearly that applies with the value that you give, the exclusivity that you provide to everyone involved, and then the level of planning that you apply in implementing that. And once you've got a differentiation and a level of planning, you potentially got a strategy. We're going to talk a lot more about strategy in subsequent videos. But why do you need to have a strategy? Clearly, it's only going to be of use if you can put it into action. Sounds simple, but how many people just create words for the sake of it? And we're not about that. We're about delivering real value at every stage of your relationship with your customers going forward, online or offline. So you get to that level of value, and then clearly you've got to see whether it's worked or not. And this is where these days there are all sorts of analytics that are available so that you can actually measure whether you've given value or not, whether you've improved perception of your own strength in your service delivery, in your brand, in the quality of your web communications, and in your tone of voice through social media. And there are some very sophisticated advanced predictive analytics approaches now using social media that again we want to talk to you about in a lot more detail in later videos. But then it gets to a cycle, because once you've received those analytics, you've got more data, and then you can go through it again. You can then add more context to that. With that information, you can build even stronger insights and foresights and innovation, differentiate your business better, work on the strategy to take more action that is more focused on delivering value for your customers. So we'll come back to a lot of this in later videos. Really great that you've joined us now on Web Profit Masters. And remember, it's all about trust. It's all then about taking action in the right focused areas to give value, analyzing what you're doing, and continually working on a number of virtuous circles. So what can I do about this? Clearly, you've got to continually work on the niche where you are giving trust and value. You've got to build a daily action plan on each of those two key areas, and you've got to keep niching down to an area where you are seen to be the absolute best, the go-to person, the go-to site, the go-to business for a particular need. And we'll talk to you a lot more about that on our subsequent Web Profit Masters programs. A lot of this is going to be available on our website, webprofitsmasters.com. So we hope that you stay in touch, and we'll see you again soon.